Zohra is the director of Muslim Youth Helpline, a free and confidential service dedicated to helping young Muslims worrying or burdening issues and concerns. Zohra is also founder and CEO of Halal Gems. Today she will inshallah be talking to us about MYH and mental health research. Salwat.
Assalamu alaikum everybody. My name is Zohra and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Muslim Youth Helpline. It's actually been open since 2001, so some of you might have heard about it before, but we've recently relaunched, and so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our service. Can we have the next slide, please? So what we do is faith and culturally sensitive support. Can you get next slide? Thank you. So we do this via phone, so people can call us, via email, you can email us, and via live chat. We're actually open right now, so you can live chat and no one even knows that you're talking to us. Next one, please. So the values that we are based on are around compassion, tolerance, respect, and the one big thing I think that makes us who we are is non-judgment. So when a client calls us or emails us, we don't judge what you've done or what you haven't done. We're just there to support you through and take you to wherever it is that you need to be. So we do this via support. So on the phones, for example, we provide similar to sort of counseling and listening skills. And we also refer people to professional organizations where it's required. Next slide, please. So the issues we deal with, the two major things are relationships and mental health. So just to break that down for you a little bit, relationships are relationships with anyone. So between parents and children, between friends, siblings, marital issues, all sorts of things. Mental health encompasses a whole lot of things as well. So that's anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. And I'm going to focus on a few of those mental health issues today. Next slide, please. So I wanted to share with you some of the research that we've just done. So in the last couple of months, we've done some research around young British Muslims and their mental health. And we did this because we realized that there weren't really any academics studying this at all. So we thought, well, we'll study it and see what we can come up with. So just wanted to share a couple of interesting insights from that. Some of them are quite concerning, I think, but I'll leave you to think about what you think. So next slide, please. Top 5 issues. So, not too surprising that 63% of young British Muslims have felt some anxiety before, have been through some serious anxiety issues. The next one was exam stress. Again, not too surprising that young people have been through exam stress. I think we've all been through that. The next one was depression. This one we thought was actually quite concerning because it was quite high. So if half of young British Muslims that we surveyed have been through depression, that's really quite concerning. And considering it's not something that we really talk about in our centres, it's something we really wanted to highlight. Next one is family issues. That's again not too surprising, and to be honest, I thought it would be a little bit higher. And the last one, suicidal thoughts. So this one I just wanted to dwell on for a minute because 1/3 of young British Muslims having suicidal thoughts is really quite concerning. So when we saw that, quite honestly, I think it wasn't that surprising to us, but we were kind of glad that we have a statistic to kind of back that up. So just this week, we've heard of 2 really high-profile cases of suicide. It does happen within our communities, and so we just wanted to highlight that that's a concern that young British Muslims have. Next one, please. So our last statistic I wanted to share was this question we asked. When you last had an issue, who did you talk to about it? So I want you to just think about that yourself for a second. Who did you talk about an issue that you last had? And next slide, please. The thing that was really concerning for us is that 1/3 of young British Muslims said that the last time they had an issue, they didn't talk to anyone. And considering the rates of depression and suicidal thoughts that we have, that is really quite concerning. So number 1 up there was friends. And number 2 was family, but 1/3 of them, fully 1/3, said they didn't talk to anyone at all about their issues. Next slide, please. So I thought I'd give you just a bit of an insight into the types of issues that we deal with at the helpline. So the first one, next slide, please. Ali, so I'm not going to read you the slide, you can read it yourself, but one of the interesting things about Ali was that he felt really hopeless. He was like, you know, I've got a great job, a great family, wonderful people around me, I have friends, I have a good life, and he still felt really low within himself. And so it was quite hard for him to reach out for help. And this, again, speaks to this whole idea of men and mental health, which is a really big issue. Next one, Sarah, 32 years old. So the interesting thing about Sarah was when she first called us, she was convinced that she wasn't receiving any abuse because it wasn't physical abuse. but abuse can take many forms, whether that's to adults or to children. It can take many forms. And Sarah was then referred on to a professional counseling service. Next one. This was a really difficult case, and I'm going to stop here for a second because this case that we dealt with was particularly hard, I think, for our helpline volunteers to deal with. Abuse cases when it involves young children can be really difficult. And so one thing that we developed from this, we kind of thought, okay, well, we're seeing these issues coming in and no one's talking about them. What can we do to help prevent them in the first place, or to help reassure our community in terms of people's parents, uncles and aunts and things like that? What do you do either to prevent something like this happening, or what do you do when you're a madrasa teacher and a kid in your class seems to be telling you something? How do you react to disclosure and things like that? So we actually came up with some training, which we deliver for free in centers wherever we can, anyone who will listen. We've delivered it to imams, to madrasa teachers, to parents, and if anyone wants to talk about that training, please come and ask me afterwards, because we'll do that here too. Next one. Last one. So the case of Abdul was it was a kind of a sweet case, I suppose, in that he just needed us for 1 or 2 sessions. He called us once about a month before he got married, and he called us again about a week before he got married, and really that's all he needed. He just needed a little bit of space to talk to someone about how he was feeling, and he felt he couldn't talk to anyone else, and so he talked to us. Next slide, please. So I just wanted to leave you with, well, I've got four things to leave you with, so it's quite a lot, but the first thing I want to leave you with is we have had some high-profile cases of suicide that we've heard about this week, Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain today. I just wanted to say that if you are going through something, and as we can see, quite a lot of us are going through things. If you are going through something, you are not alone. If you can speak to someone that you know, that's fantastic, but if you can't, the Muslim Youth Helpline is here. You can talk to us anonymously. You don't have to tell us who you are. We're not going to try and find out confidentially, and we're not going to judge whatever it is that you want to talk about. The second thing I want to say is we are looking for volunteers. So as long as you have a non-judgmental attitude, we will do all the training in terms of how you support people. We are looking for volunteers. Please do either apply on the website or come talk to me afterwards. The third thing is we are a charity, and it is the last few days of Ramadan. We've left sort of buckets by the shoes on your way out. If you'd like to make a contribution, we'd really appreciate some help trying to help other people. And the last thing is, if you would like to organize a talk, the helpline has lots of people who are really happy to come and deliver talks, either so young people can have skills in terms of talking to each other, or around sexual abuse awareness, mental health awareness, depression and anxiety. We're ready to deliver those whenever you have some time. Thank you very much.